Welcome back to Life Full of Zest, and thank you for joining me on the mat. Today we are going to be working through how to do a pelvic curl the correct way. A pelvic curl is important fundamental Pilates exercise that requires the fluid movement of that pelvis in conjunction with the deep activations of your core, your glutes, and your hamstrings. If you perform this correctly in the beginning, you will find that as you progress with your Pilates habits and progress your Pilates exercises, that you'll have a good foundation to work on. I will work with you through each of the phases and what it is that you're meant to feel and experience as you progress from the first phase back to the final phase. So let's get straight into it. Let's lie down in the center of our mats. I want you lying down in that supine position with the feet 1.5 feet away from your glutes and a fist distance away from one another. And I want you to imagine that there's a pole going from the one side of your hip right through and out to the other side. And we are going to imagine like our pelvis is hinging along that pole and just moving around a pivotal area. So just before we begin, we are just going to start with the movement of that pelvis, and then we'll start introducing the variety of other aspects that come with the move. Let's create a triangle with our fingers. So placing that triangle on your pelvic area, I want those palms to be placed on those hips. And just to begin with, we are slowly going to rotate and flatten that back as we point the tip of that triangle up towards the ceiling, and then pointing that triangle back down towards the floor as we arch that back. And we're going to just do a few of these as we work. We're not lifting anything. We are just moving that pelvis around that imaginary pole as we arch that back, pointing that triangle towards the floor, and then flatten that back, pointing the tip of that triangle towards the ceiling. Let's keep moving as we introduce the next movement or the next concept of the movement. We are slowly going to start drawing in that pelvic floor. I want you to imagine like you're holding in a Wii, and you'll see in some of my other videos where I teach you how to activate your core, you want to make sure that you maintain that pelvic floor activation while you're keeping that core activated. So now we are moving that pelvis with that deep core activation. So as we rotate that pelvis and point that tip of that triangle towards the ceiling, we are activating that tummy to pull up, and then we are using the control and activation of our muscles to arch that back to pull and push that tip of that triangle towards the floor. Let's come back to neutral. Let's introduce the breathing part of this exercise. Remember, we want to maintain a good lateral breathing using that diaphragm to fill those lungs. So as we inhale, we are drawing that air deep into those lungs and exhaling. And let's come back to center. Let's inhale, and as we exhale, we are pointing the tip of that triangle up towards the sky, taking a deep breath in, and then exhaling and pointing that triangle down towards the floor. Let's do 2 more. Let's exhale, lift, inhale, exhale, rotating that pelvis back down. Let's come back to neutral positioning, which is that happy medium between the positioning of that pelvis when that triangle is pointing towards the floor or up towards the ceiling. So we just want the natural lower back arch to be present, sucking in that belly to spine. Let's place our hands on our sides. Let's take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, we're engaging that core, sucking in that pelvic floor to tilt and flatten that back, tilting that pelvis up towards the ceiling. Now slowly lifting and peeling the back part of your pelvis off the floor, and then lifting your back up off the floor, 1 vertebra at a time. I want you to envision and imagine that those vertebrae lifting little by little up towards the ceiling. Now in this position, let's stay here. Let's bring our focus to our feet. I want the entire surface area of your feet to be on the mat. Let's draw those heels into the ground and envision them coming towards your glutes. You should feel a deep hamstring activation. Let's bring our focus towards our knees. Let's draw those knees in. We don't want them falling out. Let's inhale and exhale. Let's bring our focus towards our glutes. Let's clench those glutes and really focus on that deep activation of those glutes. We're tilting that pelvis, tucking that pubic bone towards your chin. Let's bring our attention towards that last rib on our backs, and I want you to try and push that last rib down towards the floor as you emphasize lifting those hips up. Let's inhale, exhale slowly, roll that pelvis down towards the mat, one vertebra at a time. It's in the reverse, so imagine that motion in reverse back to starting point, and inhale, exhale, tilting that pelvis back up towards the sky. Remember just to be aware of the movement of that spine in conjunction with that pelvis, as well as that activation of those muscles to perform this movement. And even just with doing these small little movements, you should be feeling a deep activation into those glutes. Let's do one more, lifting up, 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 squeezing those glutes, digging those heels into the ground. Let's stay in the air here, bringing our arms up towards the sky, palms facing each other, and let's hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, dropping those hands down. Let's inhale, exhale slowly, bringing your body back to supine position. Let's progress that movement. Let's inhale, exhale, tilting that pelvis up, lifting up one vertebra at a time, controlling that movement as you engage your glutes. Let's inhale, exhale, lifting that right knee into tabletop, drawing through that left heel. You should be feeling a deep activation into that stabilizing leg. Let's bring hands up towards the ceiling and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that leg down, lifting that other leg and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that left leg, dropping those hands, and just lifting those hips just a little bit more. We're going to hold here, and I want you to draw your knees away from each other, and ensuring that as you do so, that you're not dropping those hips. And if you feel like you're losing control or starting to get pain into that lower back, tilt that pelvis a little bit more and drop those glutes a little bit closer towards the ground. You will find that as you get stronger, you can increase that range of motion. Let's inhale, exhale, draw those knees away from each other, then back to center. Should be getting a deep burn into those glutes. And let's do 4 more. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Core tight. Let's inhale, exhale, rolling yourself back down into supine position. Thanks for joining me yet again on the mat today. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.